Let's explore autistic history and the Autism Wars. This is part 43 of a series. Whoa, we are now at the end. I'm going to share the summary here with you of Autism Network International, the development of a culture and its community by Jim Sinclair that was published in 2005. I'm going to share the whole summary of that in this video and then talk about what we learned in patterns from this, what happened here in this era with autistics, between autistic activists and our actual allies, and the NT founded and run autism organizations. So, we'll see. Let's see what that's all about, because those patterns and tactics are still highly used today, even if the words around them have changed and the marketing around it has changed, but it's still in effect today. So let's see the summary and the summary of 13 years of ANI at this point in 2005. In the last 13 years, Autism Network International has grown from a small group of pen pals meeting for the first time in a small apartment to an international community of autistic people who meet online, in small informal meetings in private homes, in our own communal space at Utrecht. We have certain shared values in affirming the validity of our way of being. We have many common experiences, both with the experience of autism itself and with being autistic in a world of neurotypicals. We have a history of significant events experienced by our community. We have a dynamic, constantly evolving set of customs and rules growing out of our shared experiences and our common needs. We have certain terms, expressions, and in-jokes that are distinct to our community. We have children whose parents are helping them grow up knowing it's okay to be autistic. And it's more than okay to be autistic. More than okay. And I'll say it again. We have children whose parents are helping them grow up knowing it's okay to be autistic, knowing other autistic children and autistic adults, and knowing that they're a part of this community. This is powerful, powerful, powerful connecting right here in the heart and soul and mind, right? Autistic to autistic connection. The children who first attended Utrecht are teenagers now. The children whose parents were among the early members of ANIL are now young adults. They're all very, very grown up now, because this is going back to 2005 and we are in 2023 now, so that's almost 20 years since then. All right, so it will be interesting to see what this first generation of ANI children will bring to our community and to the world as they come into their own. All right, so 15 years of ANI was covered in that article, which took, 20 videos to go through, but I think it's really important to understand the culture of what was happening back then and what autistics were experiencing as they were trying to reach out and connect with other autistics and with parents of autistics. But here are some things that I notice in the patterns. In the Autism Wars, we have the autistic community front and we have the autism community front. Now, the autism community front is more fractured than that, based on autism belief system and which organization is wrapped around that particular belief system. So in the autism community, these NT-founded organizations are vicious with one another. And yeah, we'll get more into that here in future videos, but they take their tactics of trying to discredit and harm one another out of the public conversation, and they all of them together will turn around and use those tactics on the autistic community. So it's astounding, actually, knowing this for the first time. I mean, I'm really used to it now, but it's really, really astounding, this experience, and the first times it happens here. 2 autistics are mentioned in this article, so yeah. So know that we are now just looking at the autism community versus the autistic community front. So one of the things I saw that gave me hope in this is, in the early years, a bridge between autistics and parents of autistics was possible. It was possible, and it is still possible today. We're seeing some more of that this most recent years, of autistics connecting with parents of autistics, and many parents of autistics finding out they are autistic. So there is more of this happening, I think, today than ever before. But this bridge is still very difficult, very, very difficult, especially after all these years of activism and the same cycle over and over and over and over. With every new crop of parents coming out, we do this again. So, autistic-led conferences, we know, have a vastly different culture and social dynamic and sensory exposure that is geared to autistic people. Ever been to an autism conference as an autistic? That was a shock to me the first few times. It was just, I'm like, this is for autistic people, right? Why are we, okay, noises and lights and, anyhow. So yeah, autistic-led conferences have a vastly different culture and social dynamic, different sensory exposure, different things in place. Non-autistic-led conferences are a sensory hell. At least historically speaking, a hostile environment, and autistics were only welcome if they were able to be used as a prop or a self-narrating zoo exhibit. Yeah, we learn autistics do have their own culture, their own humor, their own community. We learned this. We do have more than a network. We have community together. We also know that the NTs were not happy with this autistic culture happening on their autism servers. They were not happy with autistic humor, autistic perservations, autistic bantering. They did not understand most of it, or they weren't in on the joke, and they were really upset about bandwidth being used. And so this just ended up going and launching into these flame wars, into the snore wars, and we see a segregation. The autistic community leaves the autism community and gets set up with their own organization. They get set up with their own pen pal list and their own listserv. And this led to autistic connection in ways that were incredible. Many autistics felt like they finally found their home, or like they were an alien who finally found their people. They found a space where they belonged. And we learned that autistics socialize with autistics differently than we socialize with NTs. There's an example given at the tables where autistics will sit with other autistics, but typically speaking, if you put us in a room full of NTs and NT culture, we are not sitting with everybody else. We are sitting far away to ourselves, probably just trying to survive the environment. I don't know. I'm going to wrap this video up here and pick up again in the next video. Thank you for exploring more autistic history with me. And yeah, there's so much more to go. See you soon.